This is Life and Vibe, and I'm going to apologize for whatever glare is probably happening in my glasses as I record this video. I'm also kind of sorry for my extended absence. I've had a lot going on. I had surgery and another procedure and just another health concern recently, and it has taken up a lot of time. Plus, obviously, I work full time, and also I go to school part time. So it's been a lot. And so I did want to kind of make sure I did come back and thank all my new subscribers to the channel. I did get quite a good response to the video I released about the passing of Jessie Lee Ward, and it was kind of a bitter thing in a good thing in some ways. Good because I want to get the medical misinformation out, and kind of sad because obviously this person had passed away. And so it was kind of, at that double-edged sword. But anyway, I did want to respond a little bit more on this topic. There were a number of creators who had mentioned that they were not going to do any response, and others who had responded, and then there were comments from these other creators about no one having responded, and I was thinking to myself, but I responded really quickly, but they don't really know who I am. And so and I got really a good response from subscribers and so forth, but I didn't really want to play off of that because I'm not really trying to obviously monetize off of what was a very sad situation. There's no money involved in my channel. My channel is very small. But I did put a poll out recently asking what person who was responding to this event, this loss of this individual at a very young age to stage 4 colon cancer. And I'm going to put trigger warnings that obviously in this there's going to be conversations around death and cancer and so forth. So I always want people to be aware of that. And so if this is something that you find difficult to listen to, then I do recommend that you don't listen and you click on out and take care of your own self first. And so anyway, I got a total of 50 people actually voted, which I am so thankful. And so I did want to make sure that I did honor this poll, and I asked, who would you like for me to do a tribute on, or prefer to do a tribute on, between Ed Mylett and Eric Worre. And Ed Mylett won quite substantially with 84% of the vote. And so with that said, we're going to get into this tribute that Ed Mylett, who is somebody who has a history of doing sort of personal growth, coaching, and somebody that Jessie Lee Ward was working with prior to her passing away. And he, well, this is not the first time I've seen this. There are other creators who have reacted to this video. I think it's always interesting to see how we all feel and respond to these types of people. It's a wild ride. Yeah, it is. And so behind me is Salty Barbie, the nurse. And sometimes I might have to turn around and have a conversation with her and ask her what she thinks about this shenanigans going on. She's kind of my alter ego behind me. I'm not sponsored, obviously, by Mattel in any way. So yeah, and if you like this type of content, please like, subscribe, comment. I love the comments, and let's get in here. God, I'm sure this. I gotta write a paper. It's getting late, but I know this guy is wild. And if you ever have an opportunity and I'm sorry, this is the last thing I'm going to say, and I'm going to get into this reaction, to see what he looked like in the past to how he looked like now. That's all I'm going to say. Okay? Allegedly, this is just my opinion in this channel. Not sponsored by anybody. I don't have anything but my opinions, and anything I say is alleged. Okay? So don't come after me. I forgot, I clicked on through, and everyone's mentioned this. That was not her birth date. So whatever date that he had as the birth date, I don't know what that date is, but it supposedly is not the birth date of Jessie Lee Ward. So this is how good of a friend he was. He couldn't even fact check a birth date that he put out as a tribute. And this gentleman gets some crazy views for some of his stuff. And he is in multi-level marketing. I really can't with these folks. Oh no. It's going to be 31 minutes of me feeling like super salty. Okay, let's just keep going. Oh, and somebody made a comment that I'm not salty. I'm just, not a nice person. Whatever. Okay, I'm just salty. These people. No, I'm just, I can't remember what they said. I don't really care. Thank you for the engagement, anybody who dislikes my content. I love haters.
Years ago, my beautiful dear friend who you heard on our show just several weeks ago, Jessie Lee Ward, she passed away of stage 4 cancer. When Jessie Lee died, she had problems and worries and concerns like you do right now. My dad had made mistakes in his life. So did Jessie Lee. So have I. We're not our mistakes. We're not our sins. So if we're none of those things, you can't take your accumulations with you. You can't take your body with you. You can't take your problems with you. You can't take your worries and fears and emotions with you. So what do you actually leave here? Because you can leave something here. You do leave something here. There's a little part of my dad in me now. That life force, that spirit, that soul is within me. There's a little bit of Jessie Lee that's within me. I carry her dreams. I carry her heart. I carry part of her spirit. I carry part of her love. We are the accumulation of these people that we love. Our soul goes to heaven, but we leave a part of our life force, our spirit, our love, our belief, our memories in those people. And so I am Jessie Lee. I am Edward Michael Joseph Mylett Jr. So you got to ask yourself, when you have your one more day like my dad had, or you were left with 2 more days like Jessie Lee, who do you want to be in those moments? People matter, things don't. And I've been pursuing too many things or ideas or concepts or stages or levels of whatever it is on the ladder, and it's the people that matter. And sometimes you don't realize that until they're gone. I'm so grateful that in Jessie Lee's case, she knew she mattered to me. Jessie Lee, I want to tell you I love you and I'm so proud of you. I'm so happy for you. You're home. All of our lives, we work so hard to change how we feel. And the beautiful thing about her being in heaven is she gets to feel all of it now.
I think too many of us are living for other people instead of living for ourselves. I just wish more people...
Sorry, I'm terrible with flicking through the channels. I guess that's the start of the tribute. Okay. I obviously am not involved in multi-level marketing companies, and the only tributes that I've ever made are for family members who have sadly passed away. One I have mentioned was a cousin of mine who passed away from stage 4 colon cancer many years ago at a very young age, about the age that Jessie Lee Ward was when she passed away. I just get the sense that Ed Mylett did not know really this person very well. And so he doesn't really, I don't know, he doesn't really say any particular events or things that really occurred when he was sharing time with this individual, except for this interview really, that is of any meaning in my mind. I just think this is clickbaity content. He says the loss of a close friend. I mean, it's the closeness of a friendship in a multi-level marketing company based primarily on the amount of money someone has paid to get training or coaching or one-on-one or whatever they talk. So if you're at the $10,000 level, you're somewhat a friend. If you're at 30,000 a level, you're a close friend. If you're at 100,000, you're the best friend. I don't know. I'm just asking. Let me know in the comments below if you know. Sorry, I keep flashing up and down. Let me try to be better.
Would chase that dream that they really care about, would love the person that they know they're supposed to be in love with, or take the big scary chance that everybody has told them just doesn't make any sense at all, and just live their life. Because when you realize that every day is not guaranteed, you're not worried so much anymore about offending people because of your opinions or your truth. You start realizing that your authentic self is all that you really need to be. It's knowing that every moment is actually precious.
If you're looking for a career where you can really make a difference in the world, to help and connect with others in a meaning...
Was that Jay Shetty? I think it was. I might have to leave that.
Hey, it's Ed Mylett. I just wanted to thank you for being here, and I would ask you to please subscribe to the show.
Really?
You just click the subscribe button here. I would really appreciate it. It helps the show grow so we can get even more successful guests on the program to help you. At the same time, if you're subscribed, you're going to get access to the programs before anybody else in the world gets access to them. So if you would, click subscribe right here.
Well, I guess
Thanks so much.
Subscribe.
All right, welcome back to the show, everybody. So this week I come to you with a very heavy heart. This is certainly going to be a different type of podcast this week, one that I wish I wasn't doing, one that I've tried to record now 3 times, and before I hit the record button, I couldn't stop the tears from...
I don't know. I did do some theatre studies for quite some time through school, and that sort of clearing of the throat and the sort of fake, in my mind, sort of grief. And so soon after the event, and then asking for the subscribe. Not that I haven't asked for the subscribe, but I'm not saying that I'm best friends with Jessie Lee Ward or a close friend. And this gentleman is. I don't know. And he's got all his, I would have thought that, if you're doing a tribute to somebody, at least don't have your marketing things in the background. That at least show some type of respect. And so far, haven't said really much about her, but he did show a clip of her in the video, I guess. But it's a grift. It's a grift.
flowing.
Lots of commercial breaks.
Depending on when you're listening to this, I'm so sad if this is the first time you're hearing this, but I'm delivering some really difficult news, tragic news. Many of you probably already know from my social media, but about 48 hours ago, my beautiful dear friend who you heard on our show just several weeks ago, Jessie Lee Ward, passed away of... She passed away of stage 4 cancer that we had talked about on this very show, and the fight that she was having, and that we thought that she was winning. And unfortunately, my sweet friend lost her battle, because we're like a big family here. The millions of us that are a part of this community, that are part of the Ed Mylett show or my social media, etc., that that we had talked about on this very show, and the fight that she was having, and that we thought that she was winning. And unfortunately, my sweet friend lost her battle with this terrible disease that we need to cure just 48 hours ago. So this is very fresh for me. But I thought it was important because we're like a big family here. The millions of us that are a part of this community, that are part of the Ed Mylett show or my social media, etc., that...
I just wanted to add about the cure pill. I think people would benefit from minimizing the risk factors to colon cancer, and I think we're starting to see more increased cases of younger people like Jessie Lee Ward having colon cancer at a very young age. What is driving that? I'm not too sure. But anyway, I'm going to try to let this guy talk because this is 30 minutes long. I think my face says it all.
I just share with you in real time how I feel and how I'm dealing with this, because I know many of you have been grieving at the loss that you fell in love with her when she was on my show.
I don't know if we talked about it.
And we're following her journey since that time. You're talking about a woman who's 34 years old, in the prime of her life, was making millions and millions of dollars, where just many years ago she was broke. She'd found the love of her life, and I was honored. I had known Jessie Lee.
I'm sorry. That, to me, would not be... I mean, maybe that for this type of folk is something that you would want to highlight, how much money somebody makes as part of their legacy. But I find that really distasteful, and, you know, I personally I think that's not necessarily, especially because of the way this woman gained a lot of her financial ability to have so much money. Sorry, that was terribly said, but you know, how she got so much money was that she basically worked for multi-level marketing companies throughout her entire adult career. And she scammed, literally, and I'm just going to say it, and the Daily Mail put it perfectly, that she was in a pyramid scheme. So, I mean, if that's how they still want to, you know, and if that's the type of legacy that you think is worth highlighting, then you're the terrible type of individual that I really think you are. You really are a horrendous type of human being. And this is not to have anyone go to hate like that. It's just like your soul is in the wrong place, mate.
I'd known Jessie Lee, been around her for 4 or 5 years, 6 years actually, at different speaking engagements. She ran up and took a picture to me in 2018 at the 10X Growth Con, just to get a picture with me. And then I watched her at different events as her life was changing. She would be like a speaker before I would get up and talk, and I knew who she was, and we would always say hello backstage. And I was told she was wild and crazy, and people had different opinions about her. And then over time, you know, we had some mutual friends, and then I was...
It just, he said that, the people said some really bad things about. That's not good. This is supposed to be a tribute to this person. So far, Ed, you've done a lot of talking about yourself. I mean, admittedly, it's your tribute to her, but still, you haven't really had anything to say, I mean, about the companies that she worked for. I mean, just, I don't know. It's 30 minutes. I felt like you were spinning through her career. And I don't know how positive it sounds when you say that, I mean, what changed your mind about her? That she suddenly paid you $30,000 or whatever was the alleged amount of money she gave you for some coaching? Anyway.
Wild and crazy, and people had different opinions about her. And then over time, you know, we had some mutual friends, and then I was honored, I don't know, a little over a year ago, that she asked me to be her coach. And when she asked me to be her coach, I fell in love with her. And it wasn't very long after that she started to call me Dad every time we talked. And we talked or texted just about every single day.
That's weird.
1 week after she asked me to coach her, she was diagnosed with cancer. And I'll never forget. And by the way, I'm doing this today because I know many of you are grieving about something in your life, or you will, and I thought I would just share with you how I feel and potentially how I'm going to deal with this, or I am dealing with it, so that maybe it'll help you. And I'm not sure I should be doing this, but I am. So it's very difficult. But 1 week after she asked me to coach her, I just want to share this with you. She was diagnosed and had a very lengthy, very difficult surgery where they removed part of her intestine and her colon. And I'll never forget thinking, well, she'll cancel this coaching call and we'll do it when she's out of the hospital. And she didn't. This coaching call happened and she was in her hospital bed. Had just come out of surgery the day before, had her laptop out, her notepad out, and was ready to go. And I thought in that moment, I love this young woman. And she told me that I was the dad that she never had in her life. And every time she would call me that, I would get goosebumps many of the times because I was so honored. And we became very, very close. And
So close, Ed, that you are unaware of what her actual birth date is? Is that how close you guys became? Just like that? I mean, really? She's 34. I have no idea how old this dude is. I mean, he's doing some things that are, trying to hide his age. Let me just say that. So, allegedly, in my mind, just from having a look at his person, and this is not hate. But anyway, that's weirding me out that she supposedly was. I think the picture in the bed was with her dad. I don't know. And you asked the question about whether you should be out here, like, doing this video. The answer is no, mate. You should not be out here doing this video. And if you all don't have the power of one more sitting in the background over there, because that's wild, Anyway, Salty Barbie over here agrees with me. Salty Nurse Barbie, my alter ego, agrees with me that you shouldn't be out here doing this video, mate.
I'm grateful that I had her on the show and that you all got to listen to her, but I'm definitely grieving right now.
Are you?
Very difficult for me to process this.
You got the black shirt on?
There's a range of emotions I'm experiencing right now, from obviously sadness and despair, anger. I don't understand why something like this happens, why God would do this, and I've had some conversations with him recently, like, what's going on here, man? But then there's this other part of me that's incredibly happy and blissful, because I am a believer, because I do believe that Jesus died for our sins and that he's given us everlasting life if we accept that, and that she's in heaven. And that if heaven really is a place that we want to go, that she's blessed to be there. She's no longer in any pain. She's no longer worried. She's in heaven. She's in paradise. I believe that strongly. I was relying on some scriptures in Luke 23:43. Jesus.
Oh, gosh. Sorry, that was a bad place to stop. Anyway, if you were so concerned with her not having any pain, Ed Mylett, then why did you not try to suggest that she actually get treatment that could have maybe potentially have alleviated some of that pain in a palliative way? Not necessarily in a curative way, but in a palliative way. But I believe, and I don't know, but I would think that you were potentially somebody who may have encouraged her to take less traditional routes of medicine, and I wouldn't even dare to call it medicine, but less traditional routes of trying to find solutions for the cancer. And I think that having a conversation with somebody post-surgery in a bed and not giving them proper time to recuperate is just greedy on your part and does not show anything about her personality other than that she was in massive amounts of denial. And I think anybody who was a true friend would have recommended and suggested to that person to get off the phone and take time to recuperate. But I'm sure she still had to pay some ridiculous sum of money for you to have that call with her. You're a fucking scumbag, pardon my French. I hope I don't lose my job for that, but he is. He really is.
Jesus replied, I assure you,
whatever,
that today you will be with me in
101
paradise.
Here. Pardon my French
And
again.
when she passed,
this guy really makes me salty.
I read that within the hour. And it gives me comfort. If we really believe that, don't we, in our lives, then we should be almost celebrating the fact that she's there and grieving our own loss. So I'm simultaneously so happy for her that she's in paradise, but grieving the loss I feel and that I know many of you feel, and the thousands of people that she coached and that she influenced on her social media. And I'm grieving. I want to say something to you about grief. Any type of grief that you may be going through, whether that be grieving the end of someone's life, then you've lost them, or the end of a relationship. It could be an illness that someone's going through. But in this case, it was her passing and her death. Grief is a sign that love is greater than death. I'll say that again, because I've been saying it to myself an awful lot. Grief is a sign that love is greater than death. And it's not the events of our lives that define us. You know, this is such a tragic and difficult event in the prime of her life. But it's not the events of our lives that define our existence here. It's the meaning we take from that event. And so I've been asking myself, Lord, what does this mean? Because I have this firm belief that I've shared with you forever, and it's being tested right now, is that everything in our lives are happening for us and not to us. Boy, that's a difficult one. I remember when my father passed away just a few years ago, thinking, Lord, how in the world is this happening for me? Or my dad's cancer and the suffering that he went through, or the suffering that Jessie Lee went through, or the hope she had. Just the day before she passed, we were communicating about what her plans were and what she was going to do when she got out. We were speaking together this coming Saturday, and we were talking about getting together for lunch, and she wanted to give me a hug, and I wanted to see her. We wanted to sit down and do our coaching in person, and that she was so thrilled. She told me to speak on the same stage that I was speaking on. And 12 hours later, she was gone. Trying to process that. What does it mean? Because I'm not telling you that every event in life is beautiful. There's a tragic accident or a young woman like this beautiful soul loses her life. But what I am saying is that I believe God uses those events so that although in our own grief and our own pain, remember this person's in paradise, but in our own grief and our own pain, that event is used to make us better, for us to learn something, for us to take something, to have an appreciation for something that maybe we don't now, an inspiration that we don't have. And so for me, I've been asking myself, what do I need to believe about this so that it serves me? What am I supposed to learn through this? And I have to tell you, many of those lessons have been screaming at me this last 48 hours. One is the preciousness of my own life and your own life. Anytime she loses their life, we feel that, don't we, for a week, and then we go back to our problems and our worries and our patterns. And I promised myself that this time, that her passing won't be in vain, that it really will affect me.
No, it will be in vain. There has been, I understand, a myriad of drama with people from her downline on Instagram and TikTok and who knows where. And Courtney hasn't been invited to the funeral. And what else was going on? People were wanting to know where the dogs were, and it's nobody's business where the dogs are. I'm sure the dogs are fine. I mean, it's just been a lot going on. And that's personally another reason why I haven't really popped out a lot of content, even though I was very outspoken about this person. I think this is probably the last little thing I'm ever going to really do, because I think it reaches a point where, you just have been able to make the point of what you're hoping about taking good medical information from people who are licensed and credentialed to do so. But this guy over here is just always looking to see how he somehow has been able to profit even from this supposedly tragic situation. I would think that if anybody were truly a good friend, I don't know if I could make any type of content involving anything, even if it's about grieving the loss of a close friend.
It only lasts 4 or 5 or 6 days, like it has when other friends of mine have passed away. This time, it's going to really influence and impact me. I've learned that I'm not done yet. And if this was my final day, I'm not satisfied with who I am and how I've lived and who I want to become. I need to change. I need to grow. I need to improve. And I believe that's one of the lessons I'm learning. I want to learn to honor the people in my life that have left, like my dad, like my friend Dave Hollis this last year, like many people in my life who are gone, especially in this case, Jessie Lee, because she was so young. I want to honor her with how I conduct the rest of my life, how I conduct myself today. And I believe that's what this is trying to teach me. It's trying to teach many of us that maybe for some of you, you need to go get your health checked.
Yes.
There's all kinds of genetic testing.
Yes, but before he starts to suggest a bunch of charlatan shenanigans about who you should get your health checked with, actually go see true medical professionals who have licensure and credentials and who do follow actual treatment guidelines that are set based on evidence-based practice. whatever this guy is going to say at this moment in time is going to be an absolute load of garbage. And I just want to preface that. Salty Barbie, the nurse behind me, not anything to do with Mattel, not sponsored. Okay, Salty, nurse, my alter ego. Would you not agree that any of this medical advice that this gentleman is about to give us at this moment in time to any of the people listening to his channel is going to be absolute nonsense? Would you agree with that? You do agree. I mean, absolutely. It's going to be just, yes, I would agree. Get your health checked. But, oh gosh, how reflective Ed has become.
That you can do for cancer to know whether you're predisposed genetically for it. You can go get your lab work done, your blood work done.
I would recommend that you have the preventative screenings that the American different associations and the U.S. Preventative Task Force guidelines recommend. I would recommend that would be the best thing to do. I'm not sure about all this blood work and looking at cancer. I mean, that's usually you can see if there's some type of infection because you're looking at the white blood cells. But and the genetic testing, I was just doing something about genetic testing. That's usually for certain types of diseases. I guess there are certain cancers that you could see through genetic testing. But a lot of these are going to be things that maybe have potentially been because of lifestyle. So I would say when you are at the age where you can get colonoscopies, lung cancer screenings, if you had a history of smoking, your breast cancer screenings and so forth are probably going to be some of the best preventative tools. And obviously minimizing the risk factors to any of these diseases are going to be some of the best things that you can do, in my opinion. All right, Ed, keep talking your nonsense, mate.
This is a healthy woman who was in the best shape of her life. She had lost a bunch of weight. She was fit. She was training. She had incredible energy levels. But this was inside her body, unbeknownst to her.
I'm just going to stop there. She talked about having fatigue and that she had all this bleeding and that she had lost massive amounts of weight. If you see pictures of her and pictures of how she had been previously, not even but a year prior to her diagnosis, there is a drastic difference. I mean, it's huge. She was eating a carnivore diet. She was drinking all of those packet ketone products. I just need to think, even as somebody who's not particularly heavy in her weight, myself, and never really have been, I have known that it's because I have made certain choices about what I do eat and the portion sizes, how many sweets I eat, how much activity and exercise. So it's something that I have conscientiously thought about. Maybe when I was younger, it came a lot easier, but as you get older, it is something that you do need to maintain. Her case, the diet that she had, that carnivore diet, I just think that heavy meat diet and all those processed products are not beneficial. So anything he's saying about her being healthy, I think is not necessarily correct. And she talked about all sorts of symptoms she had. So just being thin, okay, I'm just going to say this, does not equate healthiness, as we know in her case.
She didn't find out till it was in its fourth stage.
Exactly.
So maybe that's a lesson for many of you. In Jessie Lee's case, she shared on my podcast that at one point in her life, she had actually given her mom a metaphorical funeral because the relationship was so strained and so bad, and she had such frustration with her mom that she actually buried her in her mind and gave her a funeral. And then it was on my show that she revealed that.
Okay, Ed, I'm just going to pinpoint something out. This lady, who happens to be Jessie Lee's mom, just lost her child at a very young age to a really terrible disease. And so I think you talking about their strained relationship as part of the content of your YouTube channel is really distasteful. And I'm just going to leave it there. And if you don't understand how it is distasteful or why it's distasteful, then I think we understand why you possess no morals.
Through our coaching, that wasn't good enough and that she wanted to build a brand new relationship with her mom. And she had said on my show just a few weeks ago that the following day she was going to go see her mother. And I can report to you that she did. And they had a beautiful reconciliation. And Jessie Lee was in tears about it and had such a deep understanding.
This guy is still involved with World Financial Group. He, I believe, tells a story about living in a car. I don't know. They've all lived in a car or been extremely poor or something of that nature. But this guy has no education, I think, beyond even a high school diploma. And I'm not even sure if he obtained that. I have no idea. So somebody who worked in an MLM scam like World Financial Group and scammed his way to the top of that pyramid scheme, allegedly, is not somebody who suddenly can be the therapist to somebody who is dying of stage 4 cancer with her parents. And the fact that he even charged huge sums of money like that is absolutely appalling. I just think this man is so immoral, and the fact that he's even talking about it as if he has the right to even do that sort of thing. You're disgusting, mate. Salty Barbie behind me agrees too. She absolutely agrees with me that you are just, you have no business in any of that. He has no business. Gosh. Wow, these people are just out of control. I don't even know what to say. He makes me so salty.
An appreciation for her mother's journey now. She made that relationship right before her passing.
Not your business to talk about it.
And she felt an incredible love from her mom, and I'm sure her mom did from her. Maybe there's a relationship that you've been sideways with or strife, or you've been disconnected for many years or months. That maybe this passing is the lesson for you. The meaning you need to take away is you need to make those relationships right. Maybe the lesson for you, like it is for me, is that what really matters is it just all of this stuff and the accumulation and the helping people, all that's important. But who's important in your life? Your family.
I'm going to point out there's not one MLM grifter out there who's helped anybody but themselves. That's it. That's it. Maybe some of their friends. It's by sending some other poor person to be robbed, in my opinion, by these people. Helping people. God, I hate it when they say that. It's probably one of the things that irritates me the most that they say is helping. You're not helping anybody.
That's a lesson learned.
You're helping yourself.
In my case, it's a little different than many people, but I need to slow down a little bit. I'm spending too much time working, too much time giving. I am. Too much time not taking rest, not enjoying the simple things in life. In my case, I need to say no to more things that are opportunities of mine. I need to get part of my life back. I need to get part of my personal life back. I need to get my social life back. I've taken a look this week at my friends, and I think I've had most of my friendships on maintenance mode now for too many years, where there's a text, there's a hello, there's a lunch, but it's not as deep as it should be, or as it once was, or as it could be. And I need to evaluate, because people matter, things don't. When moments like this come every time, it's people that matter, things don't.
Ed, let me just point out, if people mattered, one, you wouldn't have been involved in a company like World Financial Group that allegedly is a pyramid scheme, pretending to be a financial MLM. It's just, I mean, what can you guys be offering? It's just, and he's still involved in that. Two, that you charge some ridiculous amount of money to give some coaching or something, that you are not licensed to be involving yourself in people's grief or anything, relationships with their family, anything, because you have nobody regulating you. Because then you personally can then start crossing all sorts of boundaries that if somebody were truly licensed and truly credentialed and were following a code of ethics, they would be aware not to do these things, and certainly not to then talk about this person's business out here on a YouTube channel where you are monetized and making money and talking about the relationship that they are having with their parent prior to their death and their struggles. It is so unethical. And the thing is, you are fucking clueless, pardon my French again. You are clueless that you do these things because it's all a trauma dump and it's just awful. Awful. You're a terrible human being, and I don't think anybody would miss you being gone from anything, because all you do, mate, is scam people. That's how we know you're not licensed or regulated, because you come out and you talk about everybody's personal business, which a licensed therapist would not do. Or I would not be able to do, even as a registered nurse, if I was aware of somebody's depression. But you just, these folks just liberally using it. It's terrible. Sorry, it just makes me really salty. I have a paper to write, so I need to get going. It's almost 7 o'clock. My dogs want to go out. Oh, finish your nonsense, sir. I think I'm going to finish up here and actually call this a night and take my dogs out and edit this tomorrow and put it out on the YouTube and actually finish the rest of this maybe sometime next week or something, because I have some papers and stuff to do and I feel like I've already been working on this thing for almost 2 hours. So anyway, I'm just going to sign out here. This is going to now be part 1 of Ed Mylett, because we're almost 15 minutes in. So I'm just going to say this is going to be the end of this part 1 of my reaction to this guy, because, oh my gosh, he just got me super salty there. Barbie was feeling the tension. Nurse Barbie behind me. Not sponsored. This is not any endorsement of the product. But somewhat my alter ego, who agrees with me that this man is just terrible. I just cannot believe. This is just awful. The money that he made from this individual, the fact that he is out here and sharing, I mean, I'm just blown away. Anyway, all right, everybody, this is Ray. This is Life and Vibe. If you like this type of content, I'd love to hear somebody point out why we need to put an end to this sort of behavior from these types of individuals. Then please hit the like, please subscribe, please comment. I'm almost at 400 subscribers. I'm at like 398, and I'm like not trying to be like super monetized or anything, but obviously, like I said, being able to get out here and get the word spread is something that's really important to me. So anyway, all right, everybody, take care, be safe, listen to your doctors, real doctors, and I'll see you on the next one. And if you like this type of comment, there's probably going to be links to some other stuff down below. All right, everyone, take care. Bye.